everyone, greetings from Team PMG. I am Disha Sinha and in this module today I will discuss in detail about evaporators, its operating principle and the various types of evaporators that are used in food industry. So let us begin with the first topic of this module, that is evaporators. Evaporators are widely used in chemical and process industries for a variety of purposes. These include the concentration of solutions, revaporization of liquefied gases, refrigeration applications, and generation of pure and mixed vapors for process applications. But in food processing industries, it is widely used for concentration of liquid, which involves evaporation of solvent from liquid. Many of us often uses the terms evaporation and drying, often interchangeably, thinking that these are same. But do you know that there is a difference between them? In drying, we obtain the concentrate in form of solid, while in case of evaporation, we get the concentrate in form of liquid. Now let us understand the operating principle behind the working of evaporators, and will also understand how concentration of liquids like milk and other beverages is achieved. Before beginning with the principle, let us first understand that why concentration is done. It is done for reducing cost for storage and transportation and inducing crystallization in the given product. Then it also reduces the cost of drying and reduces water activity for making the final product more shelf stable. And lastly, it is used for recovering valuable substances and byproducts from waste streams. In food industry, evaporation is used for concentration of whole milk, skim milk, whey and its protein concentrate, and fruit beverages like RTS, nectar, squash, syrup, etc. Evaporation of these products is achieved by removal of water through indirect heating by keeping product and heating medium separate from each other by means of a partitioning screen which is made up of stainless steel. And the heat released during the condensing of steam is transferred to the product by means of stainless steel partition. To minimize the thermal impact on the product from the heat application, evaporation must take place under vacuum at pressure of about 160 to 320 hectopascals, equivalent to water boiling temperatures of about 55 to 70 degrees centigrade. Now let us move on to the next section of this module, where I will discuss about the various elements of evaporators. There are various models of evaporators available in market which comes in different designs and specifications. But all of them will have four common components, and they are as follows. Number one is a heat source that basically evaporates the water. Number two is an evaporation vessel where water is driven out of the product as in vapor. And the next component of the evaporator is the vapor separation vessel where vapors and products are separated from each other. And lastly, a vacuum system that draws water vapor out of the separation vessel. This vacuum also reduces pressure in the evaporation vessel, which reduces the boiling point of the product. Now let us move on to our next section, where I will discuss about the various classification through which we can classify evaporators. So the first basis of classification is mechanism of operation of evaporators. So based on this classification, it can be grouped into four types, and these are as follows: falling film evaporators, nucleate boiling evaporators, flash evaporators, and direct contact evaporators. In falling film evaporators, evaporation takes place from the film interface with no nucleate boiling at the wall, whereas in the nucleate boiling evaporators, boiling occurs over part or all of the heat transfer surface. And the second basis of classification is number of evaporators which are used in the system for achieving evaporation. Evaporators may operate as a single unit or work as in series. If the process uses single evaporator for the concentration of product, then this type of system will be referred as single effect system. While on the other hand, if the process has more than one evaporation units for concentration of the product, then this type of system is referred as multiple effect system. Each evaporator unit will be referred as an effect, and in multiple effect system, the product output from one effect is the feed for the following effect. Similarly, higher temperature vapor driven out as a product in one effect is used to heat lower temperature product in another. High efficiency can be gained if we use multiple effect system. Let us now move on to our next section of this module where I will be discussing about some common types of evaporators which are used in food industry. So the first type is forced circulation evaporators. These are used when a low degree of concentration is required or when a small quantities of products are to be processed. For example, in case of yogurt processing, this kind of evaporator is utilized to concentrate milk for reduction of total solids from 13% to 16.25%. In addition to reduction in total solids, it is also known for deaeration of the product and it helps in getting product to get rid of from off flavors. Normally, a forced circulation type evaporator consists of following components as shown in figure, such as balance tank, feed pump, preheating section, temperature adjustment section, cooling section, vacuum chamber, recirculation pump and a vacuum pump. In this equipment, milk is heated to 90 degrees centigrade and enters the vacuum chamber tangentially at a high velocity and forms a thin rotating layer on the wall surface. As it swirls around the wall, some of the water is evaporated and the vapor is drawn off to the condenser unit. Air and other non-condensable gases are extracted from the condenser by means of vacuum pump. The product eventually loses velocity and falls inwardly at curved bottom surface where it is finally discharged. Part of the product is recirculated by a centrifugal pump to a heat exchanger for temperature adjustment and then to the vacuum chamber for further evaporation. A large amount of product must be recirculated to reach the desired degree of concentration. Now let us move on to our next evaporator, that is plate type evaporator. Normally these types of evaporator consist of following parts, that are thermocompressors, a plate condenser unit, plate heater, series of evaporation vessels which are also known as effects, and lastly it also have vapor separator units which are located at the end of each effect. Basically, in the shown diagram, two pipes are running through the back of plates. For each product, there is a spray nozzle in each product pipe spraying the product as a thin even film over the plate surface. In this evaporator, the product enters at evaporation temperature to avoid instant flash evaporation during the distribution phase. The water component of the thin product film evaporates rapidly as the product passes over the heating surface, and a vapor cyclone separator is fitted at the outlet of the evaporator which separates the vapor from the concentrated liquid. For achieving optimum evaporation conditions, the product film need to have approximately the same thickness all over the length of the heating surface. As the residence times of this evaporator is short compared to other types of evaporators, so this type of evaporators can be used for concentrating products that are heat sensitive. Now let us move on to our next evaporator, that is tube type evaporator. This type of evaporator is mostly used in the dairy industries and is an example of falling film type evaporator. The key to success for falling film evaporator is to obtain an uniform distribution of the product all over the heating surfaces. It comprises of vertically arranged tubes through which the product flows downwards on the inner surface of the tube, while on the outer end flows the heating steam, which is used for product heating. The length of the tubes may vary up to 20 meter and is selected in order to promote good circulation of the heating steam around the tubes. The tubes are encased and could be insulated also. The overall heating surface is divided into a number of sections and the milk flows only once through each of these. Uniform distribution of the product over the heating surface is very important for economical operation of an evaporator, as gaps during distribution may lead to local overheating, and as a result this causes the product to stick, thereby impairing the transfer of heat into the product and also reduces the production uptime. Normally, a tube type evaporator will have the following parts such as thermocompressors, balance tank, plate heat exchangers, tubular heat exchangers, calandrias, vapor separators, thermal recompressors, circulation pumps, and vacuum pumps. Now with this, we came to the end of this module. If you find this module useful, then request you to kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a good time.